Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Monday, July 25th, 2022. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend when you take out how hot it was out there. It was pretty warm this weekend, but there was still time to get out and enjoy the weather, especially yesterday. It was gorgeous out there. I know we got out and mowed the lawn, took the kids to the fair. It was a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend as well. I got a jam-packed show for you, though, coming up today. We're going to be talking with Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection on that buy now, pay later. We had this earlier in the month, bringing this back to you today. This way you avoid any pitfalls when it comes to that. These things sound too good to be true, if you ask me, or like layaway. That's really what they used to be called, but buy now, pay later. We'll have that breakdown for you. Plus, yesterday, hopefully you were out for it. The all-inclusive playground is officially open. Well, they cut some ribbon to make it open. We'll take you out to that event as well coming up here in the guest segment. But first, let's get you a couple of headlines, and we start with in-person absentee voting hours. Want to make sure you know this. It starts this week, July 26th through August 5th, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the clerk's office here at City Hall, 5520 Lacey Road. Stop on by. Make sure that you bring your ID, and if you need to know what that ID is, go to bringit.wi.gov. Bringit.wi.gov. Better say that right so you bring the right information. Reevaluation, open book, and board of review is set coming up this week as well. It starts on Wednesday, July 27th, runs through Wednesday, August 10th from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Property owners who have questions regarding their assessments can make open book appointments with the assessor's office and staff by calling 270-4235, and you can set up that appointment. The official board of review will meet on August 31st at 9 a.m. Anyone who was wishing to file an objection must contact the city clerk's office to complete and submit the objection form supplied by the city prior to appearing before the board of review. Know the flex lane signs. Have you used that flex lane yet? It's a lot of fun, but make sure you know the signs here. And here are those signs. When you see the green arrow, it's open. When you see the yellow X, that means it's closed or going to be closing. Red X, stay out of the lane. And stay safe. And remember, the speed limit is 55. It's not a race lane. That's what DOT is saying. No, that's what Jeremy's saying. So slow down out there. Be safe. All right, I was short headlines. Told you it was. Coming up next, we open up our digest. We're talking about buy now, pay later. Next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household. But phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection, our friend Laura Sutherland is back and ready to bring us some tips on what I'm calling layaway 2.0, but I know that's not the real thing. We're talking about buy now, pay later. How are you doing today, first off, Laura?
I'm good. Thank you. It's sunny and nice outside.
I know, summer is off and running. We've had some hot days, we've had some cool days, and now it's just summer. So enjoy it while it's here, of course. And maybe this is why you got to, do some buy now, pay later stuff, because you wanted that pool like right now. And yeah, sounds great. Let's do it. Let's pay for it later. But you guys are wanting to set up. You want to warn us that we need to be careful when we're looking at this buy now, pay later stuff. And I just continue to think of the layaway stuff and always like, be careful. Similar fashion. Be careful here. Tell us what you know.
So I like your tee up, buy that pool, because that's sort of where the buy now, pay later comes into play, those really big purchases, right? So you want to make this big purchase and you see, oh, look, you can pay it in 4 easy installments, no problem, purportedly no interest, and here we go. But folks need to be aware that there are some ways in which you can end up paying more than you thought. And there's some ways that you can get snagged up. So let's talk a little bit about how it works. So buy now, pay later is just a way in which you can spread your payments on a big purchase over time, just the way you would with a loan, typically just a few months. But these loans are different. They're interest-free. And what that means typically is that they're not going to give you the truth in lending disclosures that you would get with a regular loan. So a lot of times when you get a loan and it has interest and the interest compounds, the law requires that they disclose to you how much it's going to cost. Well, because there's no interest, you're not going to get those disclosures. But that doesn't mean that there are no fees or there's no interest necessarily, because oftentimes a buy now, pay later plan works if you pay everything on time fully. But if you get behind in your payments or you skip a payment, that's where the fees may catch up with you. So like anything, you need to do your homework before you jump into one of these programs and make sure you read the fine print. If you're not willing to dig in and read the fine print on a buy now, pay later plan, chances are you probably shouldn't be in that plan. The way they usually work is they're split into 4 payments, and the first one is due when you check out. The other 3 payments are typically due every 2 weeks and are billed on a credit card or a debit card or a bank card. This means you're entering into agreement with the privilege of paying over time. And they don't charge interest, as I say. But if you miss a payment, you may end up having to pay compounded interest or additional fees. So really need to make sure that you read that fine print, because unlike loans and credit card purchases that are done on installments, you don't have the federal protections that you would have and in a buy now, pay later situation. You may not be guaranteed a refund. Is another issue with these. You might pay a significant amount and you can't pay all of it, and you're not going to get a refund for your payments that you've already made. And you also might not be building up credit. So one of the target audiences for buy now, pay later are young people, right? They don't have a lot of income, but they want that new phone or they want that new fancy whatever, and they want to do these four payments. One of the nice things about doing it in a traditional installment plan or credit plan is you are building up credit as you do it. These plans, the buy now later plans, don't allow you to build any credit because they're not technically a loan. And then the other thing that they're just sort of designed to do is to get you to buy those giant purchases that you may not be prepared to buy, or maybe you shouldn't be buying because you can pay for them over time. And so there again, targeting younger people with less income can get in trouble really fast because they think, oh, I don't have to pay all up front. And before you know it, you're behind and you've got these fees and these interest payments that are compounding because you didn't make a payment. The other thing that we have to look out for these installment payments is when the payment is due. Lots of people who are paying or hand to mouth, as you like to say, or your paycheck to paycheck, if the payment is due at the end of the month, you may not have the funds. Or if it's due at the beginning of the month, it may take out the funds that you need for rent or food or what have you. So making sure when that payment is due and making sure that if it's attached to your bank account, that you have the funds in your bank account to make those installment payments. So these aren't illegal programs. There's no reason that folks can't take advantage of them if they just know what they're doing. They've read the fine print and they're ready to participate.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're right on a lot of fronts here, that there's a lot more what ifs with these, and it's not too good to be true. They're there. But they're not protected either. It kind of leaves a really big window open where if you use your credit card, and you've told us this many times, you get that protection when you use a credit card to go back on and do it. So if you were going to do the research and the things that you're going to stand out for, or things that would stand out to you one more time, what would be those top 3 things that you would say if it was your kid to say, hey, I want to buy this thing right now, and this program looks great, Mom, there's no interest whatsoever. What would you circle right away and say, hey, did you even look at this?
Right. So first of all, read the fine print and see what kind of hidden fees or interest payments there may be if you do not pay on time. Also figure out what the refund policy is and the cancellation policy. There may be a cancellation policy that hits you with a pretty heavy fine if you decide you don't want to do it. And the other thing is, look at the program and Google it or research it online within the phrase scam or complaint or fraud, and see what comes up about that company. You never know. There may be some issues already that folks have run into, and doing a little bit of research on the company on the front end before you start making that payment could really save you a lot of heartburn.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts here on this, and I think you hit it on the head that it's that purchase that maybe you shouldn't buy right now. And your final tip is maybe you should just consider delaying, just delay the purchase, and that might be the better route here. But certainly I've seen them pop up more and more. And while there necessarily hasn't been too many complaints, you're getting these folks ready here to make sure that they do spend their money wisely and make sure that you read the fine print here. If people want to find more about this, Laura, where can they learn more about this and other tips? And of course, reporting if they do get in trouble.
So folks should visit our website at datcp.wi.gov for information about all kinds of consumer protection issues and fraud. If you think you've been a victim of a fraud, you can call our hotline at 1-800-422-7128. You can file a complaint at our website, or you can file a complaint at DATCP hotline at wisconsin.gov.
All right, great information. I guess I'm not buying the pool. You talked me out of it. That's fine. And you have a great summer. We'll look forward to checking back in with you and your staff later this month.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. Check DATCP's website. They got a great information on the stuff that we talked about today, and certainly others. And please report it. If you do find something, report it so the folks at DATCP can chase them down and, stop scams. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg in the guest segment, and it is time to take you out to that all-inclusive playground. They opened it a couple weeks ago, but cutting some ribbon on a really cool ceremony yesterday. Here is that event.
Today's ribbon cutting is a celebration of over 5 years of work by many people, each playing a very pivotal role in making this a reality. I always call it a dream team. I'm going to mimic the speech I made 7 years ago when we opened the splash pad over here, is that it takes a dream team. It takes people who are passionate about projects, people who are passionate about inclusion, people who are passionate about serving people with disabilities. So a lot of people came into this, and to start things off, I'm going to welcome Mayor Richardson, who's just going to welcome you and say a few things about the playground. Aaron Richardson.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really am just overjoyed seeing how many kids are out here already playing on this playground. This is just a great facility to add to everything else we have here in Fitchburg. We have such a wonderful parks department, park for infrastructure throughout the city, and to be able to have something like this that, again, is so inclusive. And that's a big thing as mayor that I've always wanted to do and has been a focus of mine, is to make sure that we have things for everyone. So to have something like this for people with different abilities is just fantastic, but it's for everyone. It's not just for a certain group of people as well. I want to thank Jake for all of his work as well. Thank you, Jake, for all your efforts. I also want to thank all of our staff that's helped out with this. We have Scott here from the Parks Department. I know there's a lot of other staff here as well. And we also have a couple of people on the City Council here who are also instrumental in helping with this. Gabriella Gerhardt, who represents this area, and also Julia Radafrada, who was actually instrumental in getting this park built. And thank you for all your efforts in getting this built. It's just a wonderful facility. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you again, Jake.
I'm very happy to say that from day one, Aaron Richardson was a supporter of this project, and we really welcome your support, and thanks for being a part of it as well. I would like to introduce to you, I'm going to go through a list of people here. Alder Julia Radafrada, she's going to talk about how she got the project started and working with the city and say a few things about that. Julia really got this ball rolling 5 years ago and brought me in later. So, yeah, okay. Julia.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Hello, hola, bienvenidos. Welcome everyone to the park. This project started 5 years ago with a question that I asked Amanda Hudek. She's the president of CI Therapy, about where do the kids with some sort of disability, physical and cognitive disability, play in Fitchburg? And the question was, we don't have a park in Fitchburg to do that. So, and she introduced me to the concept of dream parks, inclusive playgrounds, and then from that moment I decided, Amanda, let's build it in Fitchburg. So we introduced the idea to the mayor, to the council, and the city staff, and everyone was on board from day one. So they said, let's build this park here in Fitchburg. And since then, we formed a group of people, volunteer, CI, Oak Bank, Optimist Club, the city staff, especially Scott in the park department with his team. And this one was a project that is 50-50, 50 funded with public funds and 50 with private. And a lot of Fitchburg company and neighbors and donors came forward and donated money for this park. So I want to thank you everyone that was part of this team. This is a playground for all. This is a playground people only for Verona, Oregon, Brooklyn. All these towns around us can come here because this is the third inclusive playground in Dane County. So I think this is great for the city of Fitchburg, and thank you everyone. Especially I want to thank Jake, that he's won the champion, and he is the glue in our team and move forward with this and the fundraising campaign. So thank you, Jake, very much, okay?
As a passionate advocate for people with disabilities and their families, I'm a former president of the board of Moving Out. We build inclusive housing here in Dane County and around the state and Midwest. So it was a no-brainer to get involved in this project. That was a no-brainer. I will certainly be thanking a lot of the donors later in the program, but we're just going to keep it moving along. I would like to introduce Luke Lang from CI Pediatric Therapy Centers. They are our lead sponsor on this playground. They gave us $50,000 to help build what you have before you today. So Luke's just going to talk about how they got involved. Come on, join us, Luke.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jake. And what a beautiful day to be out here on this beautiful playground enjoying this weather. As mentioned, I am Luke from CI Therapies, and at CI Therapies we provide a whole bunch of different services for kids of all ages and all abilities. We serve communities around the Madison area, including here in Fitchburg. We have 2 locations. So when we heard about this project, we were absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. And we absolutely were so excited to just get in here and provide our expertise about what would be really beneficial to the actual park itself, what equipment would be out there. So at CI Therapies, we're all about play. One of our values is being play-based, right? So we obviously at a playground here, you're going to do lots of playing. So in order to do that playing, we had to look at 4 different kind of domains on about what all the equipment could be, what we could utilize inside of this equipment. So there are some components about sensory, there are motor skills components about the equipment that'll challenge cognitive skills, social skills, communication skills. So we really based our equipment choices and how we design the playground based on kind of those 4 domains, and really emphasizing that all ages and all abilities can and should play. So thank you guys so much for coming out. A lot of hard work and passion was put into this playground, but as long as we're out here to have fun and play, everybody will get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So thank you so much. Thank you.
A couple things I mentioned beforehand. If you see the coloring on the ground here on this excellent surface that we put in, that was specifically designed with consultants from CI. They wanted to be very receptive to people with sensory issues. And the color of a playground shouldn't always be flashy, bright, like a lot of the playground vendors want to sell you. So we need to be sensitive to a lot of different issues when we're building. And a lot of thought went into that. A lot of thought went into placement and flow of different devices and how kids will use this playground. So, of course, they're going to decide how to use the playground themselves, even though we have that decided. Is Corey here? Did Corey come? Okay. Well, I just want to say something about Corey Horton. So Corey Horton from R.A. Smith, he was our project engineer. He poured his heart into this. We had several meetings. I know you met with him several times too, Scott, and put a lot of personal meaning in this. As a parent of someone with disabilities, I think he was the ideal partner to join in as engineer. So I just want to thank Corey. Volunteers from the Fitchburg Optimist Club. A lot of us spent a lot of days in the summer selling drinks at the art fair to make this happen. We participated with Kamika in a bowling tournament, raised about $7,000 for this in the bowling tournament. And the Optimists are all volunteers, all a part of this, just doing it for the love of it. Laura Smith from Oak Bank did a lot of work with us as well, and so I just wanted to thank them. I am going to bring Jim up from Oak Bank. Jim, do you want to say something? Otherwise, I got something for you. Why don't you say something? This is Jim from Oak Bank. They're also one of our sponsors.
Well, I will be brief. Just thinking earlier and talking earlier how, just honored we are to be participating in this. And I look back at the Dream Park that started 20 plus years ago, and then the Splash Pad, which was about 10 years ago, and now this. So just great. The community's been so good to us. It's always good to give back. And when you find a situation like this where you have leverage and you have everybody involved. The city comes front, so people from the government are involved. The individuals in the community are fundraising. The business community is fundraising. And then CI bringing the expertise. That was really a big part of that as well. You're not just giving $1, you're giving $1 with people that are very educated and know how to take those dollars and make them really pay off for the community and create such a cool place. So again, the inclusion is fantastic. It's a great thing to be involved with, and Oak Bank's just really proud to be a part of it. So good job, everyone.
So in addition to our 3 big donors, CI Pediatric Therapy Centers, Oak Bank, and Kamika Amatech. I want to say something really quickly about Kamika since they're not here. They were able to utilize the funds that we raised from the bowling tournament, which was about $3,600, and they got a corporate match from Amatech, their parent company. So that's why we were able to make $7,000 out of that. So, and Annie Stroud was just a champion at getting volunteers together from Kamika to come be a part of this.
All right, there you have it. Check out that park. It's at McKee Farms Park, right next to the splash pad. We'll take a quick break, wrap up the show next. You're watching TF.
Como padre, todos los días son un desafío. Y hay que estar ahí presentes. No importa lo cansado que uno esté, hay que estar ahí presentes para ellos. Cuando los niños aprenden algo nuevo, es ese momento mágico y especial. Y creo que presenciar eso, ese momento es mi favorito.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Whoops. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back at. Ugh. Nah, I'm just being a show off. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. Thank you to all who came out yesterday to the ribbon cutting for the all-inclusive playground. Check that out at McKee Farms Park, right next to the splash pad. And then, of course, thank you to our friends at the Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection. Buy now, pay later. Now you know. Be safe about it. Definitely read the fine print. That's all I'm saying. You can stay connected with Fact TV. It's fast, fun, free, easy. And, of course, we have some great programming on there. And like us on Facebook if you haven't. Follow us on YouTube. Have a great evening.